Welcome to episode 1 of Adventure Rider Without a Clue. That's me. This is my first video on the bike. I'm usually doing videos on four-wheel drives, anything off-road, touring, four-wheel drive competition, fixing four-wheel drives, braking four-wheel drives, a bit of fishing. Anyway, generally towing the caravan, anything off-road and around Australia. So I've had this bike for a few years and I like to record all the little trips I do. And I annoy everyone with them on YouTube because it's more or less for me later in life. I call them my dementia files. When I get old, I can sit back and watch all the fun I used to have. Now, I'm a bit new to this. I have ridden a couple of off-road trips before, but I've got a KTM 450, which I've taken up Cape York, and that's basically my off-road experience. I've done a bit of motocross 20 odd years ago, 15 years ago, for a while, but generally have the bike, thought I might as well use it. Most of my mates have road bikes, so I ride it with them more often, so I've sort of got road orientated tyres on it. But anyway, we thought we'd give it a bash. Where I'm at the moment is out behind Maroon Dam in the hinterland, if you like, of the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. I basically was going to meet some mates up at a place called Gordon Country in Goombara area, up in the ranges, which is normally only a 2-hour drive or ride, but it looked pretty boring, so we go that way quite often. So I thought we'd mix up a bit, and we just found a heap of gravel roads just to get away from the norm. So these roads are all around. They basically go out to Bow Desert, if you know the southeast Queensland, out to Bow Desert, down to Rathdowney, hang a right towards Maroon. Just after the township of Maroon, you head up into the hills on these roads here, and they sort of skirt around the edge of the dam. Beautiful countryside, and it's just another way of getting up to the start of where I'm heading. The main event for this little detour, which is the Condamine River track. Up near Queen Mary Falls. It's a track with 13 river crossings. So let's get there. Okay, we're back on the Queen Mary Falls road now. Let's go up here, a couple of Ks, and we should be turning off onto the river track, I think. Just getting used to the bike a bit. It's a bit heavier than the KTM 450, so the weight's doing my head in a bit. Just when you're slow moving and trying to turn around or whatever, it feels a little bit top heavy, but I'm also only 5'8", so that would be helping. Righto, this is us. So this track deviates off the main road and follows the valley through all the creeks and comes back up onto the main road again near Killarney, and it's 22 kilometres I believe through this bit of track. Well worth it if you live anywhere near here. It's a cool little track, and if you go during the week like I am, not much traffic, just a few cows. Now I'm just on Pirelli Scorpion Trail 2 tyres, which I think are meant to be a multi-use tyre, but I don't really think they're good off-road. They're okay in the gravel, but as soon as you get into any slippery stuff, they don't seem to be much chop. but they're okay on the road, and I usually ride with road blokes, so I'm going to have to look at a better tyre. And tyre pressure running is 28 and 30, I think, somewhere around there. A bit low for the road, but probably too high for this. So watch out for cows down the road, and here we go. Look, cows straight away. Hi girls, stay there. I think the F800 comes in at about 200 odd kilos, but mine's got racks all over it, the steel protection bars which double as the pannier racks. And it's got a big belly guard on it. And what else has it got? It's got a couple of driving lights. But I've got a bag on the back with my gear in it and some tools and some stubbies. So there's a bit of weight on it, I suppose. So straight away through that first little rocky creek, obviously the causeway was okay, but the first little rocky creek, straight away you could tell the tyres were just slipping on the rocks, but you know, they're round river rocks with moss on them. So I don't really think many tyres are going to be better, much better. So I just get a bit of a pace up. Of course, the downside of that is I get wet. And none of my clothes are waterproof. I've got no I've got no wet yet, so even my boots aren't waterproof. So good chance I'm going to get wet. Rule 1, don't fall off if you've got an audience. You. Now this road's been closed for quite a while because they were putting some causeways down underneath, like some concrete bases down some of these creeks. This one's not too bad so far. Oi. But it's not a bad idea because one of them, I remember when I came through last time on a four-wheel drive, had like a 2-foot drop down to get in, which would be okay on a bike going in, but if you were going the other way, getting out would have been quite ordinary. So I think that's why they've modified a couple. You don't want to see them put causeways everywhere because it's quite a fun track at the moment, but that was deeper than I thought. Now I'm wet. Actually, I'd forgotten that this thing used to run like crap and do plugs after I went through water or even heavy rain. Not water because I haven't been through water, but yeah, heavy rain. Used to just burn plugs out for whatever reason. And it hasn't gone bung this time. I'm thinking when I put the coil pack or the big lead that goes on top of the plug back in, I coated them in dielectric grease. So that might have fixed the problem. I had the problem 3 times before that. 3 times it would run on one and I have to replace plugs. Well, that's the actual river track done. Well, all the river crossings are done. I think there was 13 of them, including the 3 causeways. They've just done it recently, which is a pretty good idea. One of them was a mad drop off into it, so it would have been ugly on a bike. Well, for me it would have been ugly on a bike going one direction anyway. In a car it was no dramas, but would have been rather ordinary with like I think it was about just a 1.5 foot step up or a step down going into it, coming from the other way there. There you go, so this is just coming into Killarney. Go get a feed at the Killarney pub, although it's a bit early, so actually instead I just turned up the Bitumen Road and went for a lap up through the windy part, or the Bitumen windy part up to Queen Mary Falls proper. Take this off so I don't look like a tosser coming into town. Look at this. I am saturated. So I hope I dry out between now and wherever I'm going. Anyway, I'll go to the pub at Killarney for a feed. Righto, the trip report. So we're in Gold Coast, southeast Queensland, and I just head out towards Bow Desert, up through the mountains of course, and then head left at Bowie down to Rathdowney, where I turn out towards Maroon, and just after Maroon you turn up into the hills onto the gravel roads, which is where the video started, and wind on all these gravel roads right up to Queen Mary Falls track, which is there. And then when I got to the end of it, I actually, you see a little squiggle there, I went up through the mountains, back through the Queen Mary Falls bitumen track, because it's fun. And then yeah, down across all the farms out towards Goombara to meet the boys. And oh yeah, I ran out of fuel, so I had to go to Allaray to get some fuel. And then yeah, on to Goombara, Gordon Country, and stayed there.